up every day lying to myself, and in the truth I can't stop loving you. Oh no, 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 I can't stop loving you. I'm muddled, I feel all befuddled, driving addled by attraction, but this is something new. Yeah, everyone sees everybody talking shit behind my back. What can I do? I just can't stop loving you. Oh no, I 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 can't stop loving you. I tried to talk, but there were no words. I wake up every day lying to myself, and in the truth I can't stop loving you. Oh no, I can't stop loving you. Oh no, I can't stop loving you.
And 3, 2, 1.
Hello.
Hello, this is Zombiepaper.
I'm Cecily Renns. You're watching our streams. Let's go.
Hell yeah. We are talking about 2022 albums, of which I am a music reviewer and Cecily is a music maker.
Yes, I make music. It's true. You might not believe it.
I believe it. I believe that you make music that bias-wise, I really enjoy.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. There's people in my stream. There's Kaya and Katie, and Ekelian, Lent and Amber. True. Hello, everyone. We're gonna talk about some music that we like, because I love doing that. I feel like I do not talk enough about music that I like. If you come to my Discord channel, not Discord channel, my Discord server, oftentimes I'll be shitting on albums and musicians, and I don't want to do that. I feel like I keep doing that. I should stop doing that. I just stop shitting on music when people post them. I actually love music. I love most music that I listen to. That's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna talk about music that we love, because there's a lot of music that came out last year. Now 2022 is last year now. Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah, that's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, and a lot of good albums came out. I mean, I couldn't listen to like most of them because I was working on my fucking album. But well, I could barely listen to any albums. And the ones I listened to weren't the ones that other people were listening to. I didn't listen to all the famous ones. I haven't even listened to that Kendrick Lamar album. It's crazy because I love Kendrick Lamar. He's great.
I only listened to it once in 2022, and so that's one metric for me to decide if I like an album or not, is how curious I am in visiting it again and again. Through force of habit, I have to somewhat encourage myself to listen to music more than one.
Wait. Something was happening with the audio.
Uh-oh.
Okay, now it's fine. You can keep. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
Okay.
I wonder if my network's bad.
No, I think it might be me, but keep talking because it was fine for me.
Okay, yeah. My voice was glitchy for a second. Thanks. So for those on both sides, actually, so I have some network problems. I think that they're mostly resolved. So if you notice anything kind of weird, that would be why. Because I just have I got a new laptop and it's not perfect. So hopefully I figured out the issues. So, yeah, I was gonna say with the new Kendrick Lamar album,
Mm-hmm.
I only listened to the one time, and that I guess it didn't impress me a whole lot. But I liked N95, and I thought Auntie Diaries was a kind of like
A lot of people are
I'm kind
talking
of a
about that
big
one.
fan of. You still there?
A lot of people are talking about that one.
Yeah, yeah. So I am somewhat a big fan of controversial things that make people think. So I would
Mm-hmm.
say that I like that, but I understand too that some people don't want a whole bunch of controversy and such. So
Yeah, I have not heard it, so I feel I should not talk about it. I've only read the lyrics.
yeah, but we could instead talk about our favorite albums of the year.
Yeah.
I already spoiled my two favorite albums of the year to you, Cecily.
True. But I've not heard
Wait,
them. You should so you have to tell me about them.
you haven't heard either of them,
Actually I've heard one of them, but yeah. I've heard one of them a
but
lot of
not the
times.
other.
Oh no, not the other one. I was gonna check it out, but I didn't have the time.
Nah, it's all good. So, the albums we're talking about, or I'm talking about, are Cecily's album "Dysfunctional Bunny Girl." Um, we did
Yeah.
a whole podcast about that too. Our previous podcast.
What's about Dysfunctional Bunny Girl, my album, the one I made
Yeah,
for a very
I
long
even did
time.
a I even did an album review game joke entry or joke list about it.
Yeah, wait, just that one album. Nice.
Yeah, just the one album.
Yeah.
I wrote a whole lot
It's the only
for
album
that
that
review.
matters. The only album that matters. I mean,
Somewhat.
I'm glad you would bring it up because if you didn't, I would have to awkwardly bring up my own album, and that would have been weird.
Yeah, I mean, we've covered this topic a lot about the idea of narcissism, of enjoying your own work, and I think you have a very healthy relationship with that, and in part because you keep challenging yourself to say, "Do I have a good relationship with this, or am I being too narcissistic? Am I being too self-centered?" And that you think about it, I think, is really good.
Mhm. Hello, Jordan, in the chat. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Okay. What?
Maybe we'll ask this as people are filtering in, hanging out. What were your favorite albums of 2022?
Yeah.
Uh,
Tell me your
or if you do, go for it.
tell me your favorite album. I want to hear it.
Yeah, yeah. And if you don't know, if you're kind of like, I don't know, what about albums or things you checked out in 2022, the past year that you liked? Those are always good, kind of like, even if it was, a song from the 60s or whatever, if you really liked it, hey, you checked it out in 2022, right?
Oh, I think I okay. Okay, CP, I have to so go to the audio mixer in OBS.
Okay.
There's desktop audio, right?
Let me go ahead and pop in there. We have audio.
Yeah, and when I'm speaking, which ones light up when I'm speaking?
Oh, I see what you're talking about. So what I'm seeing right here is what I call under for underlay, and
Yeah.
then you are part of the D dot call. So that is
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
So I don't know what you're asking
you
about.
have a separate track for your Discord audio, right?
Yeah.
And so there's Discord audio and desktop audio playing at the same time. That's what was causing it.
Oh no, no. So I have my mic, and then everything filters under the Discord
Yeah.
call,
Yeah, yeah.
which is that. And I don't know a way to configure that to grab just from Discord. Um, Maybe I can
Can you
try that
show
right
me the
now.
audio mixer? Can you give me a screen cap? We are fixing GP's audio because right before we started the stream, I was like, you're capturing my audio in a weird way. I told them that. So I was like, so we were trying to fix this for like 30 minutes. And I feel like I just got it. I just got out of what the fix is.
I wonder if it is under advanced audio properties.
Your favorite album was Thanatopia by Mark with a C. That guy, Mark with a C. I think it's Mark with a C. Maybe it's Marcy with a C. It might be Marcy with a C. I'm not sure. But it's Mark with a C. That guy. I keep hearing about that guy. People keep telling me to listen to that guy. Okay.
I've never heard Mark with a C. Um, let's go
Okay.
check that out. So while you look at the audio stuff, as you can tell, we're very much we can hold two different
Sure.
conversations simultaneously. For folks that might be a little bit weirded out by that, don't worry. It's like, all right, cool.
Okay, so
Mark
so
with a
if
C.
you close that tab, there's this audio mixer, right? The smaller one, like that's the
Yeah,
smaller
yeah.
one, right? Can you just mute the desktop audio?
Well, then I don't hear you anymore.
You can't hear me then?
The folks on my side wouldn't be able to hear you.
Try it. Because
I only have two mics in the audio mixer. I don't have
there's
three.
only one. There's mic and the Discord call, and you don't
Yeah,
have
so I could reset by way of
Okay.
adding
Let's do
the
that.
audio
Let's do that
source.
after this one. Let's do that after the stream. It seems like this would take way longer than I thought. Okay. So what
I
are people saying?
wonder.
What are people saying?
What are the people saying?
Oh, you are compiling video game songs?
Uh-oh.
You should get some songs from I mean okay. Some good video game aim soundtracks. Undertale is good. Lisa has a good soundtrack. Omori has a good soundtrack.
I'm
Orphan
not a
has
big
good.
fan of Undertale, so we're gonna have to do a whole bit about that in the future.
It's okay. It's like 7 out of 10. I mean, it has some good songs. It's important, but I wouldn't say it's amazing.
It's only important in very little regards, in my opinion. I'm not a
Yeah.
big fan.
I think the legacy is important because I started making music because of Undertale because its influence is very important. Orban is good. Orban and Mother 3, they have good songs. So you get some from that.
I like, in addition to that, I like the Final Fantasy soundtracks. I like a lot of the Super NES, NES soundtracks. I'm kind of older, so yeah, that. You go look at some of my favorite video game soundtracks. Since we're kind of veering in this topic for a moment, let me go look at my ratings. 5 out of 5 albums.
Ireland will join its trio, yeah, but Violet Ponies, Fist Whisperer. Hey, 2 of those are my list too. The B side to either this Wallpaper Goes or I Do by Demi Soldier called Make the Metro Fountains. Okay. I have not heard of Demi Soldier before. Not heard of it. Oh, did you go quiet?
No, yeah, I was just thinking.
Okay.
I like the Final Fantasy Tactics soundtrack.
Final Fantasy is like really good.
I'm thinking of video game soundtracks now, Cecily. We're talking about.
I mean, there are some good video game soundtracks. I like the Persona soundtracks. The Persona games have great soundtracks. I don't listen to a lot of soundtrack music, which is weird because a good chunk of my audience, like people who like my music, are people who otherwise exclusively listen to video game music. Like they tell me like, usually I only like video game soundtracks, but your music is so good. It's like, okay, okay. That's an interesting thing to tell someone.
Oh yeah, Gran Turismo is on my side, Goji. And hey, Goji, by the way, says Gran Turismo lounge music is a good example there.
You've never played
So
Lisa. Lisa, if you like Undertale and Omori, and you can stomach some like more mature themes, like some fucked up shit, then you should listen to Lisa. And we should play Lisa. If you
I
can't,
wasn't a big fan of Lisa, to be honest with you. I kind
yeah.
of, I wasn't. Uh, it wasn't like I've encountered a lot of extreme media,
Mm-hmm.
and it just wasn't compelling for me.
Yeah,
So
it's.
I
I
would
feel
really,
like it's a product of its time because it came out in 2014, and a lot of it has not aged well. But I still feel like the writing is really nothing like what I've ever seen. It's a important game to me. I would say Lisa is like my favorite game of our time, but it's hard to recommend it to people because it's so extreme and particular. It's not something everyone will like, and that's okay. Like, I don't have to tell everyone to go play it. It's only a few people are gonna really like it, I think.
yeah, that it just kind of doesn't sit well with me.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
okay.
it's not even one of those like I want to play it to like I've watched a lot of extreme movies, a lot of like the quote worst unquote movies, the most offensive, and just like Lisa is just kind of like it didn't really interest me at all when I played it. I only gave it like an hour of time, so
Mm-hmm. The
yeah, it
beginning
just
is
wasn't
not
really.
not as strong. It gets a little better, but still, if you don't like what you saw at the beginning, then you're not gonna like the rest of it.
Yeah, yeah, I'd
Mm-hmm.
kind of summarize it like that. It just wasn't. It wasn't appealing at all. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
intriguing, and it wasn't something that I guess I would say very similarly to Undertale. Like both of the games, they exist in a space where it's like, oh, here's like Earthbound, but, and it's like, well, why do I care like that? Like Earthbound, but extreme, or Earthbound, but better. And it's like,
I think
what?
it's interesting. Because they clearly take a lot of inspiration. I don't think any of them are trying to be Earthbound but better because I see a lot of respect for the original here for in those games. And in Undertale, so it's interesting how both Undertale and Lisa takes the Earthbound inspiration and does different things with it. Now we're talking about Undertale. So we should not talk about it too much because we have to talk about favorite albums. But uh, but it's in both of the games. They both have that surreal humor to it that I feel like a lot of people take from Earthbound. But what Lisa does is, I think Lisa takes the more fucked up dark humor and from Earthbound, and Undertale takes more of the jovial, like silly parts of Earthbound. I think they take different aspects from it. The music in them is, I think, were good regardless of the writing. I think the music is great. I think the music in Lisa is fucking insane. It's like insane FL Studio electronic, like no industrial music. I think anyone should just, if you are interested in uh like niche electronic dance and industrial music, you should just take a listen to some of the songs from Lisa because out of context they still sound incredibly abrasive and fucking crazy. They sound insane. I mean, I'm not gonna say they're like fucking death grips. It's some weird shit. It's weird shit. I would recommend it. I heard Risk of Rain in 2 is. I want to play Risk of Rain 2, but I do not have it. I should get it.
You know what I would also recommend, Cecily?
Yes.
The new Clutch album.
Yeah. You want to talk about your favorite album? That's your favorite album.
Yeah, I think that would be my favorite. I thought deeply about this, and I thought about this over many days. Maybe not for extended periods of time, but maybe for like 2 3 minutes on the bus ride into town, maybe 2 3 minutes while I don't know walking around at work. Um, so for me, as someone who has liked Clutch's music for over 10 years now, it's one of
Mm-hmm.
those things where it's like this is a this is probably one of their better albums in their recent discography. The way that I would phrase it is a lot of people look at Clutch and they say, "Oh, they're dad rock," or they're like their early stuff was pretty hard rocking, but now they're kind of more mellow. And it's like, well, yeah, that's kind of the point. People mellow out as they age. It's just good. And it's a good thing that they're not angry into their 40s or 50s or whatever. But what I thought was really cool about the new Clutch album was that it sounded a little bit like they were getting really diverse, including Mercy Brown sounds kind of like a Pink Floyd song. It's
Mm-hmm.
like that's really cool to me. My favorite of theirs is probably still Earth Rocker, so I wouldn't say that's my favorite of their entire discography, but for Sunrise
Mm-hmm.
on Slaughter Beach, that's probably like one of my top five favorite albums of theirs. So um,
I love the
take
cover
that for
art.
what it
The
is.
cover art is great.
Oh yeah, that's the them performing. Let me get the album cover. It looks like a Moebius cover. Looks like
Mm-hmm.
something that Moebius would do. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really neat. So yeah, I'd say like what I was thinking deeply about was that Clutch is my favorite band, or one of my favorite bands, probably top 20 favorite bands. I think a lot about them. I think of them a lot, and so for an up and coming musician such as one Cecily Renns,
Yeah.
to be the underdog for a band that is essentially an underdog within the rock community is kind of an odd parallel, but I wouldn't feel comfortable putting your album above Sunrise because it's like
Aw.
I've listened to Dysfunctional Bunny Girl
Mm-hmm.
more. We
Also,
did a whole podcast
yeah.
about it.
Also, thank you, Hyperion. Uh, thank you for enjoying my weird book that I wrote about a video game. See you later. See you later.
See,
Yeah.
take care of their Hyperion.
Yeah. Uh,
Ask a music person about video game music. That's
uh,
it's always a good idea. It's
mm-hmm.
always good. Like, hey, you're around. I can just ask you, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that we were able to answer.
Oh,
And hey, David.
Illuma is here. Hi, David. We're talking about albums. We're gonna talk about.
Yeah,
I guess we're gonna talk about my album now. I guess.
we were talking about Clutch, but yeah, let's talk about your album, which we talked about for a whole podcast there.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. When was that? Was that like a month ago? It
I
was
think
like
it was a while ago. Let me
it was
check.
like 2 months. 2 months ago.
Something like 2 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll look exactly when we did it.
It was really fun. I miss doing this.
Yeah, we did. So the first one is not the one I'm looking for. November 10th is when we did episode 3 of the semi-interactive podcast project. Cecily and Zombiepaper talk about whatever for
Mm-hmm.
a while. Yeah, it was fun. We mostly stayed on topic for that one.
Did we? I do
And
not remember.
we did surprisingly well on staying on topic on that one,
Very nice.
which is somewhat rare for us. We like
It
for those
is.
that might be listening in the future, like, oh, what were your favorite 2022 albums? Lisa and Undertale didn't come out in 22. What are
Yeah.
you talking about?
They come out a very long time ago. But I have a whole list I can get around to.
Yeah, if you want, we can blast through the list and see what yours are, and then I can show mine as well.
Oh, okay. Should I stop at the top or the bottom? I wonder.
I usually start with my favorite.
Uh huh.
I'm not a big fan of like suspense
Just the
or
suspense. The
like
build
what
up.
is it?
Yeah. So my favorite is the Billy Fox album. It's called "The Island Where Joy Meets Fear." It's the latest album that she came out at. And with this one, I'm very biased because she was sending me the song as she was making it. So, and like I heard the album before it came out, like in its entirety. I think actually there was like two songs I didn't hear that she put it in it. So I'm very biased, but that's just what happens. I mean, it's always gonna be biased. Anyway, I wrote a review about this album, so I don't have like a lot more to say. I would say Bitty Fox is right now my most influential artist, the most inspirational artist to me. She has really affected the way I make music and art, and even before I became friends with her, because of course now I'm friends with her. She played all the instruments in my new album. So that I guess that's a bit more like we have like a creative business partnership. Um, I did not work on this album though. I was gonna be featured on one of the songs. I was gonna be on a song called Transubstantiation or something like that. Uh, I was gonna rap in that one. She asked me to, but I didn't have time. I was making my own album. This album came out like a week before. Actually, not a week. Like 2 weeks before my album came out. It was like a month. So this came out like right before my album, and I was too busy working on my album. Um, so I did write a review, a very lengthy review about where I go into all the songs. Like there are like some of these things that I say in it. Like there's the song Starburst, which is track 2 in this album. That's like the best track 2 I've ever heard in an album. It's like this really sort punk bit pop out song. It's really catchy. There's also the song right after that, which I think is one of my favorite songs of all time. It's called "God Bless You, Miss Rosewater." Uh, Funny thing is, this song obviously an homage to the Carbonica Carbonica book, not the album. Carbonica was not a musician; he was a author. He wrote a book called "God Bless You, Mister Rosewater," uh, and this is actually a about a friend of hers, I think, who named their OC after the Rosewater book. So this is like a nuanced, layered reference. Anyway, this song is great. You guys should go listen to this album, and this song in particular, this song called "God Bless You, Miss Rosewater." Oh my god, this song is like really catchy, and this song does one of those things where like it has a verse. It's like a verse at this beginning, and it's really catchy. It's really catchy. It's such a good verse melody, but she does not repeat it for a second verse. For the second verse, she just does like this insane synth solo instead of repeating the verse from the beginning. I love it when songs do that. When it has like a really catchy part and it doesn't actually repeat it. It doesn't need to, and so it's like kind of contained in this moment. This album is really well written. It has great pop moments in it. The production, like the album starts like the first half of the album is kind of these punk songs, like with like real guitar and folk instrumentation. And as the album goes, it turns more electronic, and there's more like dance music in it, like some EDM production in it, shit like that, which I think is really cool how it turns more electronic. Uh,
We're getting some deep lore in here from Biddy.
hey, Billy's here. Billy is in the chat
Yeah. Hey, Biddy.
too. I got it wrong. They they did not their friend and did not name the character um after the Carbonica book. It was apparently just a coincidence, of course. Uh yeah. There's also a song called Going to Titan, which is really good. And there's a song on Dysfunctional Bunny Girl. Dysfunctional Bunny Girl on Dysfunctional Bunny Girl, the title track. And that was inspired by Going to Titan. That, or at least the part with the spoken word part. It's that was I was gonna do that part in Dysfunctional Bunny Girl. I was gonna do the spoken word part. Then Bruiser did a better one, so I put that one instead.
I was going to say here too, how is your rapping? Is it something that you do on the side, or is it something that
I
you're
made a
wanting to do?
I made a rap album. You heard my rap album, didn't you? Hear my rap album years ago? That was like one of the first albums you heard from me, right? Wasn't it?
So I kind of did like a blast through your discography, um,
Yeah, that was
and
Color This That. That was the rap album I did, and I went off on that album. I have some banger bars in that album, and that album took like 3 years to write
oh
because
yeah, yeah.
because I was like I have to make the rapping in this like perfect. I wanted to write some fucking sick shit. So I took a very long time with the album, and I made that rap album. And I was like, I'm never gonna make a rap album again because like this is too hard. Like I have to make rhymes, and like the words have to fit into like the measures of the song. I'm not gonna do that.
Did
Uh,
you say to yourself, "I'm going to make a rap of my rap career"? Is that what you said to yourself?
True. I wrapped it up.
I
Like
haven't listened to that in over 2 years, so I'll have to give it another
I have
spin.
not listened to that in over 2 years. I should probably listen. I mean, it was a good album. As far as like 2020 John J. Rand's albums go, that was the better one. That was a pretty okay one. Um, and like in my opinion, like everything I made before like 2021 is like mostly garbage, and that is like the exception to it is On Pop and Color This That. Those are the two albums that were actually like okay. Um, I did do a rap album. I also there's a part in the new album that I made in Pop Squared. There's a part where I rap in it. There's a part in Get the Point is the one where I rap in it. Summer Heartbreak was 2019. Get owned. Oh, the book
You
was
know,
2020. Yeah, the book was 2020. Yeah, I'm sorry.
so I've told you this before that in general, if I like a musician or musicians, then in general I'm not super critical of their entire discography. Like
Yeah.
I'll generally like it all. Going back to like Clutch, for example, like I didn't like their most recent album before Sunrise all that much. I didn't love it, but at the same time, I can enjoy it well enough. Is the one with the Book of Bad Decisions, the one with the eagle on the cover. I wasn't like ecstatic over it, but it's still like there's no album by Clutch that I hate. Just like there's no album by
Mm-hmm.
you that I hate. It
Mm-hmm.
maybe some don't leave a strong impression. Whether this is just accident. Some might like I might listen to it 3 times and be like, I remember nothing of it, but it wasn't offensive. That's my general take on musicians that once they get into that kind of good echelon of my favorites, then I, I
Yeah.
don't mind if they're kind of like maybe if a more critical listener would be like, oh, that's a lunker. For me, it's like, ah, it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I actually have not heard some. I only listen to like a whole discography when I really like someone's music. And I've only done it to a few people. there's like albums that I'm in love with. I gave it like a 10 out of 10, but I have not heard any other album by that band.
Yeah, I used to do that, but now I'm very careful about that, and I try to avoid it. The way I would do that, like I say that when I did that with No Means No's Wrong, I was like instantly I was enamored by it. It was like, yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 for most people, 5 out of 5 for me.
Hmm.
It was just really it struck me immediately, but it's also like I need to listen to more of No Means No. I definitely need to.
Yeah. So
um,
that's my favorite album of 2022. Here's the link. This is The Island Where Joy Meets Fear. There's two more Billy Fox albums in my list. So we're not gonna have a shortage of those. She has some good albums this year. I mean, I'm not gonna
yeah,
lie. Okay, they were
one of
good.
them was on my favorite of the year as well. The one that let me make sure that I get the right title
Yeah.
here.
It's a BD's
Mm,
favorite was Asphalt Meadows by That Kept for Cutie. I had to listen to the album. The two albums I really wished I could listen to and make it into this list were that album and the new Mountain Goats album. I really wanted to listen to those, but I don't know. I keep not listening to music. Like I feel like I gotta give it. I should just put it on. I just put it on and just do something else. But I feel like I have to give it more attention, so I keep putting them off.
you know what my favorite Biddy Fox album of 2022 is, Cecily?
What's that one?
It's 2022 and You're Still Alone, Girl.
Yeah,
Is
that
my
one's in
favorite.
my list too. We can talk about it together.
Yeah, yeah, I liked how sonically diverse it was. It is, I should say. It wasn't was because we can still
Yeah,
listen to it.
the
Uh,
forest song in that album. What you know? What Bridget really does well. Her albums always start with probably the best song in the album. I think that's what she always does. Except for Everybody Relax, which does not start with the strongest song in the album. It actually starts with the worst two songs in the album. But it's like this album's like telling a story, so because you can't if that's like the only excuse that you get to have is if the album is telling a story, then you can't do much about that. But
yeah.
besides that, track one's always very good in our albums. Like I don't know about the island where Joy Meets Fear. I mean, going to YS is really good. But but I feel like the songs like the three songs after that are way better. But so she still put like the best songs in this beginning. It's just not the first song. It's 2022. Everybody Relax, which is a song called Everybody Relax, and that the album called Everybody Relax. Uh, Great title, by the way. It's such a great title that she used it for both an album and a song. It's great. It's a great song. It's an amazing song.
Yeah, I would say my favorite is probably Nervous Wreck.
Yeah.
I
As,
think that the Little
featuring
Echo
Lil
features.
Echo, the legendary Lil Echo.
I know nothing about Little Echo.
Yeah. I've actually heard some of their music. Which makes beats for them, and they're great. They're great.
Yeah,
Really,
it was definitely
really
because it
good like emo rap stuff.
very. I would phrase it like this: there's a certain threshold with rapping where below that threshold you can tell that that person is really still struggling with rapping as an art form, as a feeling of being confident in rapping. And then there's like, okay, this person
Can you be
knows
can
how to
wait
rap.
wait wait wait.
Oh,
Can
I'm
can you
clipping,
yeah, can you hold on for
not
a second?
clipping. Yeah, yeah. I'm glitching. Oh no. Glitching. Um, okay, so let me restart about
No, no, no.
the.
It's not
Uh
it's
oh.
not on your end. It's on my end.
It's on your end. Oh no.
Okay.
What are you doing to my audio?
Pretty sure you're fine now. Yeah.
What are you doing, Cecily, to my audio? While you're there, the chat has been uh, not on your live stream. So do you want to throw that on or off? It's taking up a bit of the screen otherwise
Why isn't
in
it on? I
OBS.
thought I did. I thought I
I
did
don't
that.
know. Hey, you got rid of me and you got rid of yourself, and now we're back.
Yeah, I was trying to get rid of the FS Studio. Okay. Da, 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 da. Oh, I'm not supposed to sing that song. That's an unreleased song.
Uh-oh. What are you doing?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Now you can see the channel. I thought I did it.
Can I see it now? Oh yeah, now I can. Yay. There we go.
Anyway, it's 2022 and you're still alone, girl. That I love the cover art in that album.
Yeah. It's very much it's very much in my style of art, so I can definitely
Mhm.
appreciate that. So the kind of lo-fi style.
One thing that
Um,
Bridget does is she puts text on her album covers, and I don't like it when albums put text on their covers, but she likes it, and she always does it, and I like it when she does it because it's like a part of the art, and it's like stylized and everything. In this one, it's like just the text at the bottom, but it like gives it like a mood, I think. So if I made the album, I would not have put the text. I don't text on my album covers.
that is a curious statement that
Yeah,
you've just made there, Cecily. I'm looking at my top 10 and I'm looking for how many have text versus not.
yeah.
And
I feel
so
like
I would say,
recently more people have stopped doing it.
yeah, I could see that. Do you want to guess how many of my top 10 do not have text on them?
Like 5 or 6.
Four. Four
Ooh.
of them do not have text on them, which I'll go in order. Are your album, Dysfunctional Bunny Girl. We have Denzel Curry's, what is it? Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. We have
I've heard that one, I
Bronco.
think. Actually, that
You-
was pretty good.
Bronco? Yeah, it's Bronco. Yeah, it's really it's a fantastic album.
I
It's
love Denzel
it's
Curry.
like
Denzel Curry is like one of my favorite rappers.
I want to talk more about Denzel Curry right now. It's
Let's
uh
go.
yeah, Walkin' is my favorite song of the year. Either that or Megan Thee Stallion's Anxiety. Both of those songs are fantastic looks into mental health, into being aware of mental health. And I feel that it's a fantastic thing to promote within music in general to say, hey, you, you gotta get yourself looked at. You gotta make sure that you are mentally correct as you would be mentally or physically correct. And I think that's something that is just a really good thing to see with Denzel is pretty much a really I would almost say a wholesome individual in that he's still kind of a little edgy at times, a little rough around the edges in some parts. He's not like a family friendly person in the traditional sense, but I mean, a lot of what he's talking about is what we all experience in life.
Mhm.
So I would almost say that it's he's fantastic for one, and take take care there,
Goodbye,
Acrylian.
Killian. Goodbye. See ya.
See
Yeah,
ya.
my favorite album by him is Taboo. That's the one I like. Though
Yeah,
I liked him before that. That album is just a really good like pop album, I think. there's a great mix of like punk rap and pop rap. I love stuff like that. The new album is more like it's like jazz rap, right? It's just, so he gets to.
Yeah,
I feel like he really gets to flex his lyricism more. Which obviously he's an amazing lyricist. Like he can really weave some words out. I feel like a lot of people kind of thought of him as like the fast rapper.
mm,
He's the punk rapper. He yells a lot. Like his most famous songs are where he's rapping fast and yelling a lot. So I thought it was great that he made like an album where it's more mellow. He's just kind of saying things on his mind in a really thoughtful and intelligent way.
that's the way to progress yourself as a musician is to take what the critical perspective is of you. In this case, like "Vengeance" by Denzel Curry with JPEG Mafia and Zilla Kami,
Amazing
to say
song.
like,
I love. I
I
fucking
know
love that song.
that's how I first heard about all three of them, really, and all three of them are fantastic. I really I've been getting into JPEG Mafia's style, like fashion sense, a little bit, and
Funny
it's just
thing,
like,
I have
hmm,
heard JPEG Mafia songs and have really liked it, but I'm not listened to an album by him yet. I'm not listened to an album. I really should. I love the guy. He I think he produces all his songs. That's great. He's
he
such
does
a
a
great.
lot of production,
Yeah.
and a lot of what he's talked about over the years is like, why would I pay someone to produce music that doesn't sound good when I could make the music that doesn't sound good and save some money?
He just say he can do it better. He just want to save money. That's
Yeah,
great.
he's like, I'm not any better, but I'm not any worse than all these people.
That's great.
And like,
That's exactly how I make music.
yeah, it's really one of those things where when you outsource something, it should be because you know, like, yeah, I really don't want to deal with this versus like, I can kind of figure this out and make it okay. And then if you outsource and it's like, oh, I could have done that just as poorly. Why would I do that in the future?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
I
really
should listen
cool
to
to.
My Eyes again. I have only heard it once when it came out.
I would honestly recommend some of the live performances that Curry did
Oh.
with like the Tiny Desk,
Oh, I
where
love
it's
those,
some.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great to hear all the diversity of music
Mm-hmm.
of like all these different genres, and just think like, wow, all these people working at a Tiny Desk can't work at all because they're too busy listening to music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so then there's that. He went on tour and he did like a whole thing of bringing the whole group from the Tiny Desk along as like a tour. So it was
Yeah,
like he was
nice.
definitely leaning into that jazz rap side, which is like I say, like that's the ideal. If you're known as like a almost like a hardcore hip hop person, then you really need to break free from that. Otherwise, you're just gonna keep on making that same music for an entire career and you're
Yeah.
just going to get bored of it. Very similar to you, where after you made Dysfunctional Bunny Girl, you're like, I want to
Mm-hmm.
mix it up a bit. I want to go back to like making fun music. This is,
Yeah, that's what I wanted
I
to do.
expressed, yeah, like you express that stress, and then you're like, hey, let's have some fun.
Yeah. I went back to what I'm a bit more used to, which is making some pop songs. That's those are my roots.
Yeah. And especially with all your new fans, they're like, wow, this is a new direction for you. And it's like,
Yeah,
no,
that's
this-
what I've always done. But with this functional bunny guy, I wanted to tap into that specific sound, which I have not really done before. I mean, I had done before. I made like a dozen fucking pop punk albums, but not the emo kind of pop punk.
yeah, that I think I liked it. It wasn't. I'm not a huge fan of emo music. I'm not a huge fan of indie pop music, but I think you tapped into more of the punk side of it by
Yeah.
expressing the emotions maybe a little bit rawer than what I've heard
Sure.
from some emo music. So uh, maybe we can phrase it like this: I admit to being extremely undereducated in emo music. I've heard quite a lot of indie pop, but um, in any genre, in any kind of perspective, there's good stuff, bad stuff, and I just
If
haven't
I
listened to a whole lot of
so
emo.
if I ever get a band, I mean, if I ever get like if I form a band, I would make new metal music. That would be my next direction.
Oh,
I would literally
interesting.
do that. I would literally do that. Because I love it. um, it's literally the only type of metal that I like nowadays.
New
Uh,
metal?
New metal, yeah, it's great.
Like
I
what
want
kind?
like System of a Down and fucking Rage Against the Machine. Probably Rage Against the Machine mostly. Was it- and
So having grown up in, go ahead.
fucking Linkin Park. Linkin Park. It would be Linkin Park. It would sound like Linkin Park.
Yeah, I think you would be more of Linkin Park. So having grown up in the 2000s, the hybrid theory was in my high school yearbook. They listed that, and Incubus's Morning View. They listed those as like, oh, these are cool albums that are out, or whatever. And it's like, okay,
Hybrid Theory
cool.
is great. I love Hybrid. That's a great album.
Yeah, I like Hybrid Theory and Meteora. They're both. I believe I put both of them as 5 out of 5s on Rate Your Music.
Nice.
But
I'm too
I think you would.
cowardly. I have not put them as 5 out of 10s. I should.
It took me a few years of thinking about it, and then I said to myself, you know what?
Yeah.
If I'm going to alienate myself, I might as well do it in a way that I enjoy because I don't believe in guilty pleasures. I don't believe that you should
Oh
feel
yeah.
guilty about it.
Totally.
If you like music, hey, if people make funny about it, those weren't really people that you'd want to hang out with anyway. If they're like kind of jab at you and like
Yeah.
still friendly, then great. You can have fun. You can self-deprecate. But if they're gonna be like, oh, you like Linkin Park, oh, you don't have as much of a musical taste palette as I would have expected from you. It's like,
That's kind of. I am firmly in the belief that there's like another difference between saying that you like an album and saying that an album is good. I think that those are just the same way of saying that an album is enjoyable to you, and that's all that matters, right? If it's enjoyable to
Mhm.
you, then you like it, and it's a good album. It's a good album. And some people will be like, "Oh, it's like good in a bad way. It's like so bad that it's good. If it's good, it's just good. If you like listening to it, I mean, if it might not conform to like the typical ways associated with what a good song is, or like it might not be enjoyable in a traditional way, like but it's still good if you like it. If you enjoy listening to it, that's all that matters. You don't have to like go around and say like it's a guilty pleasure that is so bad that it's good. I think all of that is kind of used to like make people feel ashamed about liking certain types of music. And I think that's like where people justify liking music that is considered objectively bad or whatever, which is not a thing. So you don't need to do that. You don't need to justify it. You don't need to justify your enjoyment of art. You can just like it.
Yeah. Yeah, like I would think. I was thinking about this as a topic of albums released in the '90s. Kind of circle back to my two favorites of 2022. So you have In Utero and Enter the Wu Tang, both released in
Wait.
1993.
Can you can you
Did, did my audio cut out?
oh no.
Uh oh. Is my
Okay,
audio bad?
I think it's better now.
Uh oh. Okay, cool. Thanks, Biddy. Thanks for
Mhm.
being there to assist. So I was saying, with music released in 1993, there are the two albums Enter the Wu-Tang by the Wu-Tang Clan and In Utero by Nirvana. Now, Nirvana is my favorite band. I love In Utero, but I would almost say that Enter the Wu-Tang is the better album in terms of cultural influence and overall maybe influence into popular culture than In Utero, which is kind of an odd thing for me to say, but that would be more of like that kind of schism between favorite and like the best. But I think
Mm-hmm.
it's at that point it's pedantic because it's like they're both really good.
Yeah. I think it's
So
fair to make that distinction for you, like personally. It's like words mean different things to everyone uniquely, and I think that's okay.
yeah, in that sense, I would say like the better album would be Sunrise by Clutch, but the album I like a little bit more would be Dysfunctional Bunny Girl by one Cecily Renns that I may or may
Very
not be
nice.
talking to.
Hee hee. Very
But
nice.
at
Thank
the
you.
same time, it's like that is the better album and one that might be the one to permeate more. But then to me, I listened to Bunny Girl more and I thought about it more than Sunrise. So I would use that as the analogy there.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think a lot, and sometimes it actually correlates. Other times it
Nice.
doesn't.
Okay, I'll go through some of my list. I have a lot. So okay, I'm gonna go through like the next like 5 or 6 I have, and these are not like ordered in any way. These are just albums I gave a 9 out of 10 to. The 9 out of 10 to me, a 9 out of 10 is like it is like personally significant to me. It is like it like moved me in a way that nothing else has ever had. Um, which to me basically means like I mean in for me a 9 out of 10 is like pretty high score. It's like one of my favorite albums of all time. So one of the albums that came out is for me very unexpected. It was a new album by Nouns called While of Unsound Mind. So this band Nouns is incredibly influential to me. Um, I heard it because there was a guy when I used to be when I used to like Homestuck. There was a guy who I used to hang out with. Uh, we still follow each other on Twitter. Um, they write about music for like a publication. It's cool. And they showed me Dogs by Nouns, this song from the album Still Bummed. I was like, this is the best song of all time. Where can I hear more? So I listened to Still Bummed by Nouns and was like, this is a great album. Thank you for showing me this. And now later, I used to listen to Still. This is their second album. It's very confusing. Their first album is called Still Bummed, and the second album is called Still. Now, Still is uh in my 10 out of 10s. It is one. It is my favorite like emo album of all time. Like any albums and they are called emo, that is on my top, my on the throne. Nouns is very important to me. That album still has saved my life. Really, it has really fundamentally changed my livelihood in a way that a single piece of music album can rarely do. So Nouns is very important to me. If you listen to Nouns, you get where I got all the shit from Dysfunctional Bunny Girl from, like the chiptune thing, with the punk sound, like the chiptune sounds with the punk guitars. That's a Nouns thing that I did.
I would think that nouns and verbs and adverbs and adjectives would all be equally important to you.
Yeah, I nouns beat out a little bit over verbs. Um, so they haven't made like a new album for like I think 7 years. In 2021, they made like this short little EP thing. And it was great. But I was like, it was kind of like more post rock, I guess. It was like a little weird, but there's also like a little story in the Bandcamp page about what each of the songs are, and that made me appreciate that one a little more. Anyway, in 2022, they came out with like this is like their full length return comeback album, Wild Unsound Mind, and I'm only listened to this album like twice. And this album is fucking insane. It's insane. Like if you look at the fucking genres on radio music, it's like experimental rock and noise rock and math rock, progressive rock, post rock, sound collage. Like what? It's when I heard this album, I could not make it out. It's like they like it's like there's an album missing between this one and the last one because it's such a drastic like evolution in sound. And I feel like a lot of people weren't really into that. More people wanted just more of Still Bummed, which is a great album. Still and Still Bummed, like those are two perfect albums. They're great, but I really appreciated over time how much of a evolution in sound this was. I think it sounds incredibly dense and crazy and wild. I still don't really understand some of the things that they're doing in this album. It's like I say they. It's like one guy. One guy. Now it's just one guy. And there's like, a bunch of features in this album. There's like fucking. There's paranoia in this album. There's paranoia in this album. That's the next guy I'm gonna talk about. Paranoia, but now this is great. I love the new album. I should go listen to it again so I can actually like. If you told me to make a review of this album, I would not be able to. I would be at a loss for words. This is such a fucking crazy album that I wouldn't be like. I make music and I literally made music that is deliberately trying to sound like this band, and I would still not be able to put towards what the fuck they're doing in this album. It's some crazy shit. And I'm very impressed. Though I would say like a lot of the like kind of the pop part of their songwriting, it's not as in there. Like I feel like still it's despite the abrasiveness of it, the screaming, the harsh mixing, it's still a very catchy album, and I feel like bands often do this. They make an album that is very critically acclaimed and it's a very catchy album. So for when they make a comeback album, they make a totally inaccessible album. I feel like that's a thing that happens a lot. Usually I do not like it when that happens. I think I like this one. But it is still a shame. Anyway, oh yeah, don't
You know, I was gonna.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna just talk about the next album.
Oh, I was going to interrupt you. First, welcome in on my side to Smoosh, who stopped by earlier when I was having network problems.
Yeah.
We're now only down to mic problems on my side. So, yay, improvements.
Oh.
And second, I have to disappoint you a little bit, Cecily. I listened to Still Bummed in 2013 and I didn't
Nice.
love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's Still Bummed is not as good as Still Bummed is like he literally recorded that in like I think like 3 weeks in a bedroom. I think it's like a very
Okay.
it's a very DIY kind of Rust kind of project. I think it has like 4 really good songs in it. It's like 4 songs and 10 or just half-assed guitar loops. It's like it's not as good. But those 4 songs are still good. The first 2 songs are really good.
I'm gonna have to re-listen to pretty much all of Nouns.
I would really
And if
recommend the second album still. That one is amazingly polished, I think.
well, you know how I operate, right, Cecily, when it comes to musicians that actively operate versus if they're no longer in operation.
Mhm.
So if they're still in operation, I go in reverse chronological order. So that way I can like hear the most recent and then work my way
Oh,
back.
I like that.
If
I
I'm
like that
listening
way.
to, yeah, it's like if they're still around, I want to check them out, like how they, how like kind of the difference and where they're going. Like with Clutch, how it's like they went from being like a hard rock kind of band to them mellowing out. They do more jazz rock, if you will, more kind of blues rock. So there's a progression there, right? But if
Mhm.
the band no longer is in operation, I start with the earliest to see how it progressed, and I think that's been my fun way of going.
Nice. Okay, I have to like. Okay, so I have to take a break for a bit. I'll be back.
Yeah,
I'll be back for in like a few minutes. Okay.
I'll switch over to break as well. So see everyone in a few.
Yeah, yeah. Like a few minutes.
Yeah.
I tried to talk, but there were no words. I wake up every day, lying to myself, and the truth, I can't stop loving you. Oh no, 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 I can't stop loving you. I'm muddled, I feel all befuddled. I've been addled by attraction, but this is something new. Yeah, everyone sees everybody talking shit behind my back. What can I do? I just can't stop loving you. Oh no, I 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 can't stop loving you. I tried to talk, but there were no words. I wake up every day, lying to myself, and the truth, I can't stop loving you. Oh no, 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 I can't stop loving you. I'm muddled, I feel all befuddled. I've been addled by attraction, but this is something new. Yeah, everyone sees everybody talking shit behind my back. What can I do? I just can't stop loving you. Oh no, I 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 can't stop loving you. I tried to talk, but there were no words. I wake up every day, lying to myself, and the truth, I can't stop loving you. Oh no, 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 I can't stop loving you. I'm muddled, I feel all befuddled. I've been addled by attraction, but this is something new. Yeah, everyone sees everybody talking shit behind my back. What can I do? I just can't stop loving you. Oh no, I 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 can't stop loving you. tried to talk, but there were no words. I wake up every day lying to myself, admit the truth, I can't stop loving you. Oh no, 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 I can't stop loving you. I'm muddled, I feel all befuddled. I've been addled by attraction, but this is something new. Yeah, everyone sees everybody talking shit behind my back. What can I do? I just can't stop loving you. Oh no, I can't stop loving you. Oh no, I can't stop loving you.
Welcome back. I hope everything turned out well for you, whatever you're doing. No, that's all good. Yeah, I'm not Brian. So on my side, Smooshes was really impressed with that we're kind of an international podcast. That you're in Korea. It's
Yeah.
one just a little bit after 1:30, isn't it, over there?
Yeah. Oops, I had my mic muted. I'm sorry. I just said that I had to go have some business to take care of. I'm sorry. Okay.
No, no need
It's
to apologize.
it's like 1:40. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 8:30 p.m. over here. So, what would that be, like 7 hours difference?
That would be like 13. No.
Well,
You're
yeah,
in, you're in,
that's
you're in,
kind of the joke
yeah. You're in PST.
because it seems like it, but it's like you're in Sunday afternoon. I'm at Saturday evening.
Yup. Oh.
Yeah, that's where it's really cool that like I'm really just happy that I can talk to people about music and
Ah.
other stuff, like just all over,
Ah.
because it's like I've enjoyed music
Mhm.
since 2003, 2004.
That's
That's really when I got into it.
that's sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. What was I talking about? Yeah, I was talking about my albums, my favorite albums. Next one I'm going to talk about is the Paranoid album. It's not an album; it's more like an EP. So this was like a B-size album to his album in 2021 called "To See the Next Part of the Dream." This one is called "A White Ceiling, Black Dots Wandering Around." Um, this was really good. I was surprised because it's just like songs that he left out of his main album. But like I really love kind of the direction he had in these songs. Maybe more than the direction he had in his main album. Like these are like more pop punk inspired. They're less like kind of emo. The version of White Ceiling in this album, which is like way longer than the one in the album, is like this sprawling post-hardcore kind of track that is epic as fuck. So I really I really love this B-sides album. I'm under the impression that he is making a new album. He had a new live concert that I could not get the ticket to. Could not get the ticket to
Ooh.
his Paranoid. He has a live concert and he's gonna play I think songs from his new album. Could not get the ticket, which I'm a little sad about, but I do get to see Ace and Glow next week, so that's gonna be fun. Anyway,
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. Well, I can't go myself, but you should
yeah,
go.
I'm gonna see Ace and Glow and Della Zier, who also made a great album. I'm gonna talk about her album. Paranoid was good. Yeah, Paranoid B-sides album was good. Okay. The next one in this list is the Zero album. That one is good. It's called Vitamins and Apprehension. Fun fact: the review that I wrote for this album got featured on the front page of Radio Music.
Oh,
And
wow.
and it was not even a review of the album. It was like a short story that I wrote inspired by the album. It was not meant to be a review of the music. And they got featured, and then people were like, we were like, wow, Archie reviews can got featured on the front page of radio music. Wow, it's like, I mean, it was meant to be an Archie review. I just wanted to post like this short story that I wrote, and I was like, I might have to post on radio music because I was inspired by the album, but I didn't think it would get featured. So anyway. I'm a little sad because I was on a review that talked about the actual like songs would get featured, so people had an idea about what kind of album it is. It's a great album. It's like emo Suge's album, but has a folk twist to it. You know, it has some great little acoustic guitar sounds in it, and the songwriting is really amazing. I love the song. It's called. It's in Korean. It's the song is called "살고 싶어," which translates to "I want to live." That one is really good. Uh, I love the I just love the writing in this album. The vocals. It's a lovely album. Um, I'm gonna go get through some of these and let you talk about yours too. Uh, these are just my favorites.
I was
So
going to say that I think it's really funny that you got a review on the front page when it wasn't really a review.
yeah, it was cool. I'm glad because because it got featured on the front page. A lot of people listened to the album, and I was glad that I could like help her out a bit, um, because it really deserved it.
Yeah, that was something that
Yeah.
I've thought about. Um, I haven't been featured on the front page at all, but I've also had no interest to get featured. Uh, 10 years ago, it used to mean something. Now it's just like they just dump anything on there. Not to be rude toward you at all, but they've kind of been less stingent, I would say. So pretty much anyone of any clout could get on there. Um, I probably could get on there if I wanted to, but yeah, it's just kind of funny to me that they were just like, "Oh, here's a story. Here, let's do that." And it's
Yeah.
like,
I really feel like one of the editors really wanted to feature that album.
hmm.
And my review was the only one that was there, I think. So they just featured mine. I really think that. Um, which is very funny. um,
Yeah, there's 16 reviews. I wonder how many of those were written after yours. Probably,
like all of them.
yeah, it looks like all of them. February, this is April, June,
Mm-hmm.
June, September, May, December, April.
I'm really glad.
Yeah,
Really glad that
yours was the first.
really glad that they got the attention that they deserve. And I saw her live. I saw her live last August. It was great.
Oh, hell
It was
yeah.
great. I saw her and Proud Noel and Asian Glow live. Very nice. Okay, the next one is Boy Modus Union by Alexander Diogenes. This one is another BD Fox album. I also wrote a review about this album, so not gonna talk about it much. It's good. It's a good album. You can listen to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is okay. This one is interesting. It's it was recommended to me after I made my album, and like a ton of people told me your album really sounds like this band. This is Kara's Walk Home. Look a Rainbow. This is the album, and I was like, so many people saying I sound like this band, so I listened to it, and it's fucking amazing. These guys are great, and I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that people told me to listen to them. It's like kind of like it's still emo music, but I really love the songwriting in this one. I love the structure of the songs. I think a lot of them. I think if I want criticism, it would be that the songs too long. But some of them really deserve that length. It sounds like every song is like the last song of an album. It's like they all sound just as like dramatic and epic as the other one. So it kind of
I know
didn't.
exactly what we're talking about there.
Yeah, like every song is like 8-9 minutes. So it kind of takes away
Mm-hmm.
the impact. But I mean, they're still good songs. They're great songs. So like, if they had like they maybe cut some of the songs down, it would be like a 10 out of 10 for me because it's a really well written emo album. So I'm glad that I listened to that one. What's another one that I liked? Uh, so okay, this one is funny. I'm gonna talk about this album and pass it up to you. Uh, this album is Kesoku Band by Kesoku Band. So Kesoku Band is not an actual band. It is a fictional band from an anime called Bocchi the Rock. This
Oh,
anime,
I heard about that
yeah.
one.
So this anime Bocchi the Rock, this came out in like the last week of 2022. So it barely gets it barely makes it in here. Um, this anime is about this little asocial girl who cannot make any friends, and like when she was like uh 12 and she saw like a band and on TV, and that interviewing the band, and the main guy, the band man, is saying like, I had no friends back in high school, but hey, now I'm a famous band member. Look at me now. And she's like, I wanna be that. I wanna be famous without putting in the effort of making friends. So she starts learning guitar, and 3 years goes by, and she has not made a single friend. She's like
Oops.
15, and she doesn't have friends, but she's fucking amazing at the guitar. She's like the most talented guitarist of all time. So she stays in her closet all day. She uploads like cover songs and to YouTube playing guitar. Like she's famous on YouTube, but she doesn't have any friends online. This is very relatable to me, by the way. I just want to say, and then she gets dragged into like a band forcefully by just the girl who was like wandering around. There's this girl who finds her, and she sees that she has a guitar on her strap, and it's like, hey, you can play guitar, come join my band. It's like, and then she joins the band, and then she tries to play in the band, and she sucks because she's never played with other people before. They're like, you kind of suck at guitar, but she actually doesn't suck. She just doesn't know how to play with other people. That's the premise of the anime. And this anime has songs in it, and it's amazing. This album has like actually good songs. It's great, and it's like if you listen to it without the context that it's a promotional album for an animated series, it's actually competently written and performed J rock album with like post hardcore and like math rock elements. It's like a song written by the singer of Three Chord, which is like a math rock band. They're an actual Japanese math rock band. They wrote a song for in this album. It's like awesome. This album is great, and I'm biased because I like this anime and it's very relatable for me. But I love this album. I had to put it in. I had to put it in this list because it's extremely important. I think
And that's your top 10?
that's like my top like 5 or 6, and I just went through them.
Okay. I'll go through 5. And I'll go like I'll cover because what I figure I do is I'd go with ones that we don't share in common. So the first one is the Anushka Shankar album, which is Hindustani classical music with and
Ooh,
kind of a backup group.
that's cool.
So I like to get real outside of myself. I like to kind of check out music that is not in the purview of where I live in my part of the world. You have a lot of rock music, hip hop music, pop music. So it's like, what is
Mhm.
outside of that? And I really enjoy this album. It's
Yeah,
very
Hinduist traditional
relaxing.
music would be as outside as it gets.
Say again?
Like Hinduist traditional music would be as outside as it gets.
I would say throat singing music is about as
Oh,
outside as you get.
that is true, yeah. But Yoko Ono did it, so yeah, I'm not sure.
Maybe. I mean, as far as like, because this is a lot more like you just kind of put on the music and just kind of focus on something. It's really meditative. But when you have throat singing music, it's like you have the kind of barrier of entry of what the heck is going on here.
hmm
But then also too, you have
I
like
want to
noise
do
music.
throat singing.
You should.
I think it'd be cool.
It would totally be a cool thing to hear just randomly and in
Mhm.
like especially like your kind of synth rock punk
Mhm.
pop kind of vibe and just all of a sudden you're just throat singing like just
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Mhm.
That would definitely be an
Mhm.
interesting. I'm a big fan of experimentation. I'm a big fan of checking out new stuff. I'm a big fan of like you have like what you might ostensibly call like an emo band, and then it's like they just are like, what if we throw a song in here where we invite a hip hop person to rap
Mhm.
over a track and just have that as an interlude? What if that's really cool? You
Mhm.
don't know until you give it a try. Uh,
That has to be a thing.
so yeah, I would say stuff like that. Like I'm a big fan of the experimentation. Doesn't have to be land every single time. In fact, I think it would be weird if it did, because sometimes you have to fail, but at least it should be failure that is interesting or a failure where it's like, I see this idea and maybe this didn't quite work, but it's it's something to inspire in the future. I think that that's certainly there's merit in that.
Mhm.
So let me go through the list here next, because
Yeah. Yeah.
we have two albums that we've talked about already. Biddy Fox's "It's 2022," and then
Mhm.
a certain album by a certain Cecily Renns. I don't know who this
Yeah.
person is at all.
Check it
There,
out.
I've done this in alphabetical order,
Oh, I see.
and then we talked about Clutch already at length. So we talked about Denzel Curry's "Melt My Eyes, See Your Future" as well. So that's in the Tiny Desk. It's all on my Rate Your Music page over. I'll throw that over here. Um, so Melvin's Bad Moon Rising. That's the final one I'll feature for the moment. So I'll hand it back over to you. I'm a big fan of the Melvins, in part because, like I say, like experimentation. You give it a try. You see if it lands. You see if you like it. Those are always very interesting to me. And this is one of the more, some of the Melvins' music is noisier, a little less accessible. This is just them just ripping through what they do best. So I'm very much a fan of that kind of Melvins. But then when they get noisier, I don't mind it either. It just like, it's like if you're eating like banchan and you're like, yeah, I don't know if I really want to pick the like I'm not really feeling this dish so much versus like I want to get the this dish a little bit more. And then occasionally it's like, oh yeah, I want to get like a really bitter kind of food, like kind of thing like that. So that's my analogy by way of like the buffet style of like picking and choosing what you want, and sometimes noisy food. Sometimes noisy food is fun to listen to. Yeah. So those are some
Mhm.
favorites of mine. If you want to talk about more of yours, then I'll bring up more of mine in a little while then.
Oh, you want to stop?
Well, I can keep on going. I just figured you'd want to talk about yours. Oh, you have
So
the
I have
page.
like I have like 20 more I have to go get through, and I thought I would go through like a lightning round. I would just like talk about them for like
Okay.
5 seconds each. Though
Yeah. So
I guess we still have like an hour left. We have an hour left. I guess that's plenty of time.
yeah, yeah. So you have on your side
Yeah,
my writing for
yeah.
Bronco by Orville
I
Peck.
thought I would have the song so people know which album you are talking about.
This is really cool. I like this. Thank you
Yeah.
for the experimentation and all this. This is a really good format.
Nice.
It's definitely not something that you can easily read, but that's kind of not the point. Like this is we're talking. You can read it later. But Orville Peck, I would say that if you are new to country music or if you don't know a whole lot about country music, this is a fantastic place to jump in because it is highly accessible, very good from like a country but also pop perspective. And I mean, the LGBT themes definitely make it a lot more accessible for folks like ourselves, where we don't care about the
Uh-huh.
kind of traditional, if you will, themes of kind of pop country.
Yeah, like
It is,
trucks and shit like that.
yeah, yeah. Like, no, these are all just love songs, really. They're all like Peck
Can
just
I
talking
ask
about.
the do they have like a thick southern accent while singing?
So interestingly enough, as far as Peck's nationality, uh, he could be from South Africa or he could be from
Could
Canada.
be. I love the could be.
Could be because if you go over to Peck's artist page, it'll show like I believe it's Canada. Um,
Yeah.
either where he's from or
Oh, they
where
were
he
born in
was born.
They were born in South Africa, but they moved to Canada. Okay.
So the reason why I kind of say like could be, so yeah, you have South Africa and Canada, but his identity is a mystery.
Mhm.
There are theories about who he is, but no one really knows for sure.
Uh
And
huh.
so it's like South Africa could even be a little bit of a misleading thing, uh, which I think is actually really cool. I think it's neat to have that kind of mystery when
Yeah, I appreciate that. Not everyone
yeah,
wants to talk about it.
but
My
definitely oh go
problem
ahead.
with my only problem with country music is when they sing with the really thick southern accent. I can't stand that. It's not a okay. It's not a racist thing. I just can't take it seriously. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
No,
Um,
I understand.
but the country music I do like I like music by Isabella James, who is a very good friend of mine. If she made an album, let's say I would put it in this list. She's she's a artist from England, and so she doesn't have the accent, so that's why I can actually listen to her music. But she also just makes amazing, like incredibly well written and produced songs. I also like there's an artist called Casco Lunsford, which is a very weird name. His actual name is Scott Stutzman, and he also made kind of like art country music, and he does not have the accent, so I can actually listen to it. So I have to say, uh, I like I like what you said about this album. I like pop music. I mean, I've even liked some pop country songs if they don't have the accent in it. I can listen to it because I think country music is kind of cool in an instrumentational way. They're cool. I love like fucking banjos and bagpipes. I think those are very good instruments.
I will say that there is a little bit of a twang on occasion.
Yeah.
So it's I get overall what you mean though, because
Mhm.
you and approach music drastically different. For me, the lyrics and understanding what people are saying is so minimal that it's like I don't mind if I can barely interpret what someone is singing.
Well, I
I
don't
can look
even
at the
mind.
lyrics.
I can't listen to lyrics when I'm hearing a song. I can't make it out. I have to always look it up. Um, it just it's grating to me. Even if I don't get what they're saying.
I get you. Yeah, the kind of the country accent
Yeah,
is something that's a little bit.
it's a weird pet
Um,
peeve.
yeah, it's definitely. I get what you're saying. I don't think
Mhm.
it's rude or anything. It it really comes down to this, right? Like if you listen to something and you don't like it and you gave it a try, you gave it your best effort, you're still not digging it. Hey, as long as you're not approaching it from like, oh, I don't like this music because of um the I don't like the idea of people that have country accents in general. Like that would be rude. But
Yeah.
it'd be okay if it's like, hey, I don't like country music because I don't like how this sounds. Then yeah, it happens, right?
Hmm.
But I think you're you're zooming all over the place. Where are you going?
Oh,
Is that your side of my?
I'm looking up my ratings.
Oh, and Smoosh is heading out. Thank you for hanging out for a bit. And Goji asked a good question. So Goji said, "Does the album to the 2022 movie Moonage Daydream, which I think is a David Bowie movie, does that count as a
Oh,
2022 album?"
I want to listen
Yeah,
to that. I want to watch that. I saw that.
I haven't seen it. It looks like the soundtrack is just like, is that
Just voice songs.
re-recordings of Bowie's music?
It's like half documentary and half like fiction, isn't it? I'm not sure.
Hmm. I would say if the music was made by David Bowie, then as far as being a 2022 album proper, I would say no, but the lines are so blurry nowadays. It's like who's released in there, and there's a lot of David Bowie stuff. I probably wouldn't consider it, but others would. So yeah, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. That would be your choice in the matter. If you feel it does, then it does. If you don't, then it probably doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Should I talk about some of my albums now?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay, so I have my ratings here. I'm gonna get to some of these. Like I have 3 pages.
Mm.
Let's I'm gonna go through this page, the ones I rated in from January to February. Okay, so there's Ruby Rose by Kakula. Kakula. I'm not sure actually. I'm friends with her. I don't even know how to pronounce it. This was a great album. She put this out in the 1st of January. It was like my album that just came out. This is like a really fun mashup album. Really creative, fun mashups. Okay. I talk about that as well. Hey, okay. This album, I know that you have an opinion about this album. Black Country New Road. Okay, Ants from Up There.
Uh-oh.
I like I like this album.
Uh-oh.
I thought it was,
Uh-oh.
I thought it was nice.
I have opinions about this album
Yeah,
that are drastically different than yours.
I'm very
So
curious.
everything positive you have to say about it is everything negative I have to say about it.
Oh, I thought the songwriting was nice. I liked the chamber instrumentation in it. Um, I thought it was a lot more. So I heard the other album that these guys made was called For the First Time or something. It was very forgettable for me. It was just like it's kind of boring post rock. There's like a guy who is rambling in every song, like doing like a spoken word thing. It was just like. Except for some of the lyrics, I thought it was like very forgettable. But this song, this album, I thought took it in a more chamber pop direction, and I thought it was like really nice. And there's one song in particular called "The Place Where He Inserted the Blade." I think that's one of my favorite songs this year. That song is, I think, really exceptional. Um, yeah, there's yeah. I thought it was nice.
I just had a visceral negative reaction throughout the entire album. It was
Yeah.
just it
Is
was
it like a
everything.
1 out of 5 for you?
So I go 0 out of 5, which is in Rate Your Music numbers is 0.5. So I go 0, 2, 3, or what? 0, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, I've learned over the years. I've had a few close calls with people getting mad at my reviews when I write negative reviews.
Yeah.
So my as you and Biddy mentioned this in a way that I'm not going to call out Biddy other outside of saying that she was like, yeah, I really liked how you wrote that. That you thought about what the album meant to you, and you didn't. It wasn't like a trash talk thing. It wasn't like, oh, I hate the album. I hate people that like it. It was just like, I understand some of what they're trying to do. I don't like it at all, and I I respect the people that like it, but I really couldn't engage with it in a way that was productive, and it just really made me mad.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh,
I
that's so
can't
funny.
I can't chill with this. I can't relax with this. This isn't
Hmm.
me.
That's very interesting to me. I've never seen you be that mad at an album before.
It happens. I tell you, about once a year, once every other year, I listen to something that just gives me a visceral negative reaction. I'm just like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like no, and I kind of almost do like a bark.
Nice. I like it though.
I'm looking at some of my 0.5 out of fives, and I'm just like, I don't like any of these. Why am I doing this to myself?
uh,
Yeah, I'll stop that.
it's okay. It's very fun. It's very funny, by the way. It's okay.
It's okay a little bit, but I mean, a lot of it should be like keeping a good vibe. I think
Yeah.
that's the thing I've
Yeah.
learned the most over the years is that I want my space and the communities I'm in to have somewhat of a productive environment.
Oh yeah.
And if I let myself get into hatred and hating on albums, hating on things, then a little bit of that is necessary, but too much of that, it's going to drag people down. People generally don't like to be down like that.
That's very respectable, I think.
Thank you.
Okay, the other album in here is I Know There's Something Left for You by Dynastic. I really enjoyed this album. This came out very early into the year, so I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about it. But this is like a really nice mix of like emo pop punk music and hyper pop. It's a little drastic sometimes, the contrast between the emo pop songs and the hyper pop songs. And I have to say I vastly enjoy the pop punk songs over the hyper pop songs, but the hyper pop songs are good. I really enjoy this kind of direction that hyper pop is taking right now, focusing more on the pop punk side of the thing because like even I feel like the progenitors of hyper pop, like 100 gags, they clearly took a lot of inspiration from that type of music because there's a lot of homage and references and general inspiration coming from the 2000s and the early 2010s. And I mean, back then, I mean, especially in the 2000s, there was a lot of pop punk revival and emo pop that was kind of surging. And I think it's kind of cool cool for these artists to take back to those roots and kind of just make straight up emo music again. This is like, I mean, I vastly prefer like I would say I vastly prefer My Chemical Romance over like I don't know like Captain Jazz. I mean I like both of them. I just like My Chemical Romance more. I like emo pop, so I like that these artists are kind of focusing and going back to that style more, because I think hyperpop as like a genre, it's like the hyperpop sound is really played out. I feel like it's really played out. It's not as like fun and ingenious as it was anymore. It's not that fun. Um, I feel like there needs to be more a revolution in the sound, and I enjoy that artists is like Dynastic are doing that. So and they made a new album also in 2022. It's called Rare Haunts. This one was I didn't like it as much, but it was still really good. It's really good. I think they're doing some really good work here. I don't think I've heard any other hyperpop album and from this year. I didn't even hear about hyperpop this year because I feel like hyperpop is already dead. I feel like it's kind of played out. I mean, I guess 100 Gex is releasing a new album. I guess. I don't know. I feel like it's already like become so commercialized and fucking played out. It's really sad. It's like I feel like all the relevant popular hyperpop artists right now are like uh they're like straight white guys. They're like 18-year-old straight white guys. It's like that's the artist demographic now, and like I cannot get into those guys. I do not like them. I feel like what was once like a genre made by and for queer people to express like their dysphoria. Even like the pitch shifted vocals thing, that was like a thing that queer singers did to like express their identity. Now that's just become another trope that like just normal guys are now doing because it's popular to do it. It's like I don't. I have a whole rant about hyperpop. I will stop talking about it.
Only because I don't have any real opinions on hyperpop. I don't think I've even listened to much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a look on my side just to see it. How many hyperpop albums I've listened to over the years? You want to make a guess before I find out?
Like 2 maybe.
A little bit more than that. 5.
Nice. Which ones?
And I've liked exactly one of them so far. The Subtle Knife.
Hey, that's a good album. That's by Alexander Diogenes, aka Billy
Yeah.
Fox, aka B Fox, aka Bridget. Yeah.
But otherwise, I didn't like the 100 Gex album. 100 Gex and the Tree of Clues. I wasn't a fan of that. I didn't like AG Cook's Apple. I didn't like Charlie XCX, or I guess that would be what. I don't know the Roman equivalent, the Roman numeral equivalent of that, but I wasn't a big fan of all those. So yeah,
Was that
Sudden
the
Life
Pop 2
wins
one?
out.
The one I copied the title from?
What?
Was that an album Pop 2?
Oh, your new album?
No, Charlie XCX. What was the name of the album?
Oh, it was Charlie, and then How I'm Feeling Now.
Oh, How I'm Feeling Now, that one. Yeah, she made the album called Pop 2, and I was like, I want to call my album Pop 2, but she used it, so I can't do that. So I called it Pop Squared.
Oh, I see the Pop 2 there. Yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? So here's kind of the thing, like the secret sauce of how I review music is I'll listen to it, and if I'm not impressed, I'll put it away for, like we found with Nouns, like a decade until someone's like, hey, go check this out again. I'm like, okay, tell me why. And you've given a sufficient argument to say, I like their music. It inspired me, and I like your music. So maybe it'll take 10
Yeah.
years before I appreciate Charlie XCX or
I am not heard much about, but I've heard it's good, I guess. No.
yeah.
Do you wanna go or do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, I'll go with next up
Let's
after
go.
Orville Peck's Bronco.
I bring it up here.
Yeah, thank you. I only just realized that if because I'm capturing your screen in a kind of neat way.
Oh.
If I full screen it, it looks a lot better. Imagine that, huh? I'm kind of dumb, Cecily, to be honest with you. I'm kind of dumb, and it takes me a little bit to
me
figure out some of this stuff
me
sometimes.
too.
So this album, this is what the album is called, Lightkeeper. I haven't figured out how to pronounce the name of the. So Slumberland is, and then there's someone who joined recently on your
Oh.
Discord. So I checked
Oh.
before I added that person in.
Oh
That
yeah.
person is mutual friends with you, so I was like, yeah, that fulfills the rules, so you're in.
Thank
Um,
you.
but yeah, so Lightkeeper is a weird album. It is, as I say there, this album is doubly inaccessible as it contains both esoteric throat singing from the Tuvan throat singer whose name I haven't learned to pronounce, and harsh industrial tones from Slumberland. So you're getting the double dose of just like you are not going to have a good time with this if you're expecting pop music. However, if you open your mind to the idea of checking out new stuff, like very, very much outside of your own perspective, then it is very likely you'll find something interesting here. I would advocate the same way that it takes a little bit to get in Death Grips, and then after that,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh yeah, I'm in. So
Mm-hmm.
I like how the spinning face is now down a little bit,
Yeah,
so
so
you
you
can
can
see
see the
it.
title.
Yeah,
Very
so
nice.
this was a late review for me. Like I listened to it when did I listened to it in mid-December, I think it was. Um, yeah, December 18th, and I was just like, "Whoa, this is gnarly. This is like it." It was a very visceral reaction in a positive way, unlike that airplane album that you like that I don't like, whatever that one's
The
called.
airplane album, yeah.
The airplane album. So yeah, I mean, most people probably won't like this, but it's also like this is the side of my music journey that I find is something that I write about a lot. Like the idea of like if you're flying out to a random part of the world, then what do you do? Do you hang out in the hotel room, or do you go like explore around? Do you have a guide? And in this extended analogy, I always talk about like the notion of it's okay to go walk around the block a little bit. You're not going to get hurt. Just getting outside a little bit. If you want to stay in your hotel room, then that's okay. That'd be the equivalent of like listen to like I don't know, pop music that's filtered through like, oh, let's get some musician from some part of the world to accentuate this song, but we have no respect for the culture of this. Whereas this, you can kind of tell that it's like, oh, these two musicians are looking to collaborate in a way where it's like, let's just do something that's really not for everyone, but for the people that get it, they're gonna be like, oh wow, this is gnarly.
Mm-hmm. Sounds
So that's
cool.
my that's kind of my summary of what I wrote there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go on the next one?
Yeah, yeah. This one?
Cool. So the next one is Sabaton's "The War to End All Wars," which is an example of a band that I've liked for probably coming on 10 years now. I think it was 2014 if I'm reading this and recalling correctly. Um, I wasn't a big fan of their previous album. I thought it was all right, which is The Great War. I thought it was decent enough, but I was like didn't really get it, didn't really get into it. but this one was like, oh yeah, this is cool. So Sabaton plays kind of power metal. They do a lot of lyrics about historical themes, and they try to do it from a kind of I would almost say a non-biased perspective, minus like they don't like fascists either, kind of a thing. Like they're anti-fascist, but
Based.
outside of that, yeah, hell yeah. So outside of that, though, it's like they're not really biased about um they'll talk about perspectives, and they'll talk about like here is a war that the Polish people fought versus other people that were invading, and then maybe later on, do the reverse or whatever. They're historians that play power metal, so I like their music is just really fun. So this is an example of an album that if I weren't a big fan of Sabaton, would this be in my top 10? I don't know, but because of that bias, it's like, yeah, I'll throw them in there.
I do like power metal. I mean, I don't. I like I said, I don't. I had a metal phase, but then I kind of got out of it. And the only metal I still like is like kind of power metal and new metal. Those are the kind of the ones I still like because and like symphonic metal because I think they sound cool. There's and they're catchy. I mean, if a music genre is about being catchy, then I probably like it.
I think you like this then.
Yeah.
This band in general, they have, so what's their famous song? It's the one they always conclude with. I'm forgetting offhand. I'll look it up and be like, oh yeah, I forgot that one. To Hell and Back. That's it. So
Ooh.
if you, Cecily, listen to the song To Hell and Back by Sabaton and you don't get any vibration, positive vibration, or positive energy from that song, that'd be very weird. Like, Cecily, you doing okay there? I think you'd love it.
uh.
So the song itself is about a war hero that faced a lot of strife and led a really good life as a result. A very heroic person, and the song is very heroic. You instantly hear it, and just like everyone just loves it. Everyone just like, yeah, this is
I
the
like
best.
the lead melody that I think they're playing with the guitar.
It's a weird kind of thing. I don't know what it is, but it's like it almost sounds like
Yeah,
um
this is very epic.
yeah, epic is a term that a lot of people use to describe Sabaton. Um, and I operate with a term with the very strict definition of you're going on a journey, not just like this podcast was epic, Cecily, right?
True, we are epic, and these albums are very very nice epic albums.
All except for one.
Oh, good one. Okay. Oh, this next one is your 10th one. Nice.
Yeah, the Warm Rot album. So grindcore is something that is also very highly accessible, but Wormrot, this being their fourth album, is the most accessible of the grindcore albums I've heard. They've done a lot with expanding what you might consider to be very fast, very technical songs. So you can definitely tell they were like, yeah, let's do something different here. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
included Wormrot's Hiss in the top 10 of my favorite albums.
Mm.
Their lead singer had to step down from the band because of some vocal problems, because
Oh.
doing this kind of music for too long will shred your throat.
Oh
So
my god. That
it's too bad.
sucks.
But it sounds like the vocalist is doing well, though. Like he broadcasts on Twitch often. So
Mm-hmm.
it just sounds like it's one of those like he might have been like, "Oh, I could see this really affecting me." Like Keo from Duran Gray had throat surgery a few years ago. Stuff like that. That can really mess you up. And so he's just like, nah, I'm good. I want to just draw art and hang out,
Yeah.
which is admirable. I respect that. It's like
Very
yeah, if you
also
think,
epic.
yeah, I would say epic on that. You could say, oh, that really sucks. I really like you as a musician versus, I like you as a musician, but I like you having good health a little bit more than pleasuring me as a music listener.
Oh, totally. It's never worth it.
Agreed. I would say, push yourself a little bit is good, but too much, no.
Yeah, life is more important than art, even though often I have a complicated relationship with that because often I feel like I keep trying to make my life into art because my music is so personal and also like I put so much of my like personality out there. Um but in the end, you should never sacrifice your real life for the sake of your art. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really tricky though.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So,
here are more of my albums. Okay.
yeah, let's go check it out.
I
I have
will.
a list of yours that are more condensed. I'll send that over to you so you can have it.
I
'Cause
have
I
a
noticed you're looking through everything.
yeah. I have a list too. So, but this is so people can look at them. Okay.
This is all your 2022 albums I just linked to you.
Oh, thanks.
And also, Humble says fart, so fart as well, right?
This is a thing. You can
Yeah,
look at it by
by year.
year. Hi.
hmm It's been a
What?
thing for years.
Wow. Okay, I'm
Yeah, if
gonna.
you go to your profile, then you can search by how many like artist release review. I'll show
Oh.
it on my side. Artist release, label, genres, and release years. The final
Mm-hmm.
one.
Okay, which one haven't I talked? Okay, Violet Pony, Fist Whisperer. This one is pretty good. I don't know if I like it more than her album from 2021, which was Cutie Marks. But this was really fun electro pop. Really great production. Um, I feel like Violet Pony is like I feel like her genre music is not really for me, uh, but this was good. I enjoyed it. There was the Ace and Glow and Weather Day fucking collaboration album. I really loved this one. This one was like some really good kind of shoegaze stuff. I love both of these artists. Speaking of Ace and Glow, there is an Ace and Glow album here too. Let me see. Yeah, Starred Flutes Means. This was the new Ace and Glow album. I really love this one. This one, I feel like Asian Glow really perfected their sound here. The sound of noise pop and emo and folktronica. I thought they came together really well because their other album, from the year before this, Carfisser, that one was really messy. I think they made it in like a month or something. I think they made really fast. Um, this one you could clearly tell that it was recorded and mixed a lot more carefully with a lot more methodical or precision. This is good, great album. That's that album. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really remember this album except for the fact that it was an insane like Japanese hip hop album. This album, Tokyo Virus Love Story, it's like what's the great cover? This is like weird uh like rap rock opera about the COVID lockdowns in Japanese or something. I remember
Hmm.
this being fucking insane. But I don't actually remember a lot of it. Oh, there's Middletown Station by Billy Fox. Hey, there's a song that you really like in this album. That's the Can't Stop Loving You. That's on this album.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's my favorite pop song of the year. That
Yeah.
I say that without any kind of I mean, it's biased because hey, we're friends, but
Hey, it's a
it's it's a really good album. It's really just like you're just like whoa, or not really good album, really good song, and just like whoa, this is really good.
mm-hmm.
In a way that's not like surprising, but just like
That
can't
was
stop loving you. Just
that
gets
was
stuck in my head.
the last released John J. Renns song because I became Cecily Renns after that. And I
Yeah,
thought it was
that
I thought it was a good way to go. It was a good way to set it off.
the best way to go. That
Yeah,
was because I could say that was your best song
yeah.
by
I
I
re-
would not say like by far as in like a rude way, but I would just say like
oh, of
it was
course.
very very much a good song that
Mm-hmm.
I recommended. I just spammed all over the place, not out of any kind of um appeasing of friendship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do brown nosing like that. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it was just like this is a good song. You should go check it out.
Thank you. That is a very good song. I'm proud of it. I just kind of I wrote a song and then Biddy did all everything. She recorded it and all. It was great. Um, so this album by Infinite Light. So this is a project by my friend Claire Moon. And instead of talking about this album, which is a this is a okay album, like this is good, but I want to talk about her other album that she made, which is this one, Labyrinth by Haunted Disco. This is my friend Claire, and she released these singles all throughout 2022, and this is just an incredible, like absolutely fucking stunning, like singer songwriter album. Like Claire's songwriting is amazing in this one. She put so much, uh, I feel like she put so much emotion and pain into her lyrics and the words. It's not very often that I like folk or singer songwriter music because they're usually more about the lyrics. But the songwriting is just so fucking incredible that I'm like blown away. So I think you should listen to this album if you're at all into like this kind of folk singer songwriter kind of vibe. I think it's amazing. Uh, okay, the other album
Now
here.
I have a
Yeah,
bit of a tangent for you. Let me
yeah.
interrupt you. Have you heard of Chelsea Wolfe?
Let me wait. I think I recognize the name. I recognize the name. Who is that?
So they are kind of a dark folk musician, I guess is generally like the way that is kind of like the I'll throw that in the chat here on your side so you can see that here in just a moment. So the song that I like by them the most is off of Abyss, the song "Carry On Flowers." It's very moody, very wild sounding. So kind of similar. You were talking about like dark folk, and I was just like, oh yeah, not Cecily Renns. Cecily Renns' new album, Dark Folk,
Doug Fork.
after your hip hop album, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I've
Second one.
I've definitely heard of this artist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah, I
nice.
was just like because we were talking a little bit, I was just like, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I listened to, or if I listened to the album. Oh yeah, X. I wasn't really too keen on
Mm-hmm.
that because they went a lot more with a generic sort of direction with that. And I don't. I learned this from Lamhamo. She said if you listen to a soundtrack outside of its media, without going through the media itself, like if you listen to the soundtrack and then watch the movie, it's kind of like you're spoiling yourself for it. So ideally, you'd want to watch the movie, then listen to the soundtrack. And I agree with that. I think that's a good notion of you. If I haven't seen that movie, why should I go listen to its soundtrack unless for some reason I feel compelled to do that?
Mm-hmm.
But I did, and I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of boring. But maybe in the movie context, it's fantastic. So that's my aside there.
Thank you. There's an album. I'm trying to think of the name, but I because there's another like indie folk singer songwriter album about being transgender that came out. in 2022 that I didn't listen to. It was about like Christianity or something. There was an album that came out. I'm trying to think, trying to remember, but I can't. Um. Anyway, so the I'm gonna talk about this one and then pass it up to you because this one is really good. Hey, I Love You. The album Psychokinetic Love Songs. This one was really influential to Dysfunctional Bunny Girl. This is another like emo chiptune bit pop album that I love. I was actually not really into Hey I Love You until this album. They also made another album that people liked more than this album. It was like a sort of EP that they did that, but Psychokinetic Love Songs. I love this one. Yeah. Uh,
I like the cover.
the cover is so cute. Yeah, it's like a
It
little.
reminds me of like video game covers or maybe like 70s movie posters.
Yeah, I love it. We want to talk about like some of your album because we have like 20 minutes.
Yeah. So, what if we just kind of blast through the top 20?
Yeah,
Because
let's go.
I have a few things I can say about each. So, we talked about Wormrot. Now, Acid Mother's Temple. They are a very they play space rock, which is kind of just like psychedelic rock, but uh, long songs with melodies. This one is more of an electronic, like I would almost say a major departure from their usual sound in a way that interested me more than any of the other albums I'd heard by them this year. I typically listen to like 10, 20 of their albums per year because the main guy, Kawabata, just throws out maybe 20, maybe 50 albums of their like live performances per year. This is the one that I found was very interesting. The other ones are kind of more of like you see their live show, you've heard them before. That's pretty much good to go on that. So yeah, if you haven't heard of Acid Mother's Temple, maybe not start here. Maybe start with some of their like catchier music, more pop focused music. But after you've listened to like, I think I've listened to over 80 of their albums by now. Um, it's good to mix it up.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one on the list, uh, I don't speak. I think it's in French, but I don't know. The next one here, the also the I can't really pronounce the genre of music, but
Yeah.
this is how do I want to best phrase this to kind of introduce the idea. So within African music, particularly West African music, there's a lot of blues rock influence. There's a lot of it's like, do you consider the kind of blues rock in the West to be the kind of originator, or does that get influenced by African music? Is there kind of like one inspires the other? And there's a lot of back and forth. And this is just a really cool guitar album, is how I'd phrase it. Something that you can just listen to in the background and study the craft of guitar music and really get a lot out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I really like kind of like checking out, like I said, like music that's outside of my purview. And so that's an example of that. Next, Duran Gray. I mentioned Duran Gray before in terms of vocal cords. So I'm not hypercritical about Duran Gray. So I don't like dig a whole lot and try to like critique the music. I just really enjoy it. It's very much loud, noisy rock in the extreme metal genre perspective. So they do a lot of complex musicianship. When I saw them live, they'd like switch out their guitars every other song because some are tuned in a certain way. Sometimes you need a 5-string bass, other times you need a 4-string, that sort of thing. So very I'm not a big fan of saying like progressive metal because it all sounds the same. Like this is the least progressive thing I've ever heard in my life. Why are they calling it prog? But they do a lot of cool stuff. So that's my quick take on this album here. So the next one on the list is Lizzo's Special. This is a really fun pop album. This is one that is one that maybe 10 years ago I wasn't too big into pop music.
Ooh.
I wouldn't have enjoyed it so much, but now it just like yeah, it was really fun. Is how I would say this album was.
I really need to
So
listen to this one. I feel I would
yeah,
like this one.
you would really enjoy it, I think.
I
So yeah, that's like I said, like it's taken me a long time to accept pop music because it's like
yeah.
it's kind of trivial maybe, but yeah, I like it.
I thought Lizzo was like a rapper.
Well, I think she's just more of a singer. I mean, it could be. Oh, good thing
Mm-hmm.
you have that blocked as well. Because I'm like, do I gotta censor this? Yeah. So, yeah, and I'm gonna go off topic here. So, what if we blast through the rest because we have about like 10 minutes left.
Let's go.
So, so next up we have Medicine Singers, who they are. They're like I don't know best to phrase it offhand. So they make Native American music. I don't know specifically how that all kind of um, equates out to in America. We're trying to be a lot better about not just saying like oh Native American music, but to name like here is the tribe of the music of the group that they're part of, and we're trying to be more mindful of, especially the white Americans. Like oh we colonized this area, we should be more mindful of that. So this is a kind of cool mixture of you have that like I say Native American music, the equivalent of world music, mixed with electronic music and mixed with rock music. And just like, whoa, what the heck is going on here? This is wild. So that and Lizzo, or no, not Lizzo, that and Megan the Stallion's Traumazine.
Traumazine.
I was thinking Traumatize were both in my top 12 because you listed 12 and I was like, oh, I got to list 12 as well. So if we move along to Megan the Stallion, whose song Anxiety was my kind of runner up for song of the year. This one's pretty cool, and this one might have been who you were thinking of in terms of more of a rapper.
Probably.
She's a lot more of a. She's getting a lot of grief because it's like, oh, you're a rapper, like what are you doing rapping? And like her themes are like kind of the equivalent of like how male rappers brag about a lot of stuff, and so she does the same thing, and people are mad because like, oh, you're doing that.
Yeah, because she's a woman. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's great to hear because like, oh yeah, hey, it's that, but it's less toxic inherently because it's not like, oh, here's the male that's like doing all this and that. So yeah, I think it's cool. I think this album's cool. So
It's cool that you have like a bunch of hip hop albums in this list because I didn't listen to like any hip hop albums except for Denzel Curry. So this is great for me.
I have very diverse tastes. Over many years, I've listened to a lot of stuff. So, speaking of which, next one, Talia Forcade is. This is an example of one that's more of like a pop album, but there's a lot of the kind of the folk music. Like I said, like there's a lot of that sort of some genres of music. There's a lot of detail. You can see like all of the different genres for all the Mexican genres here, and then for others, it's just like Native American music. Really, that's it. You're gonna say like powwow music. That's it. So this would be like a good entry point, I would say, for if you want to listen to more like Latin pop or Latine pop or Latinx pop, like this is a good place to start. And it's
Okay.
more straightforward, more modern, so it's like very accessible, both in terms of accessing it on a platform and then accessibility wise for checking out new stuff. So next up, the NoFX album, which could be one of their final albums, if not their
Oh.
final one. It's just a real punk album. Real like they don't give a shit about anyone. They don't give a shit about anything. They make a lot of jokes. They make fun of everyone. They're offensive, but not in a kind of they're offending people that are they're like offending the fascist kind of
They're
approach,
offending
which
the right
offends.
people.
Yeah, exactly. And if they offend everyone in the
Literally
process,
the
then
right people. Yeah.
that's a good one. That's a good zinger there.
I think I love this one. Like skate punk, I love skate punk.
Yeah, so in terms of their discography, I don't know if I'd really say like this is their best. Um, I'd say first ditch effort is my favorite of theirs. Their 2016 album. I like that one quite a bit, but I like this one too. I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
So next up here we have Oki, who plays in. So there's a lot of history and nuance in terms of the Ainu people that live in Hokkaido. They have a very their music is their culture is very much obscured by way of the colonization of the Japanese people against the Ainu people. So just I like hearing cultural music that is obscure because like this is a way for me to study history and learn about history. So and the album was really good. It's weird, but it's fun too. So that's why it's on the list
That's
on the top
very
20.
interesting.
I like a lot of diverse music, Cecily, if you hadn't
Mhm.
noticed. And then finally, Septic Flesh is they play like the kind of extreme music of death metal, but then they also have orchestras in there. So my joke with this band is that it's like they're the kind of 4 or 5 piece metal band, but then they also have like an orchestra hanging out with them on tour. So they got all the people in suits performing like cellos while they got their guitars and their drum kit, and they're all kind of hanging out backstage, and it's like, how can we all fit in this room? How can we all like do all this? Well, we'll figure it out.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's my top 20.
Ooh, okay.
And
I have a few left that I still want to talk about. By the way, this is the artist that I
yeah,
was thinking about earlier, Ether Kane. I really have to listen to this album, Pizza Starter. This was the album I was thinking about. Let me look at my other. I mean, okay. I'm gonna blast through some of these. We talk about Beauty Fox and Ace and Glow. Finn Fior made an album called Kobina or I'm Scared. This one is really good. It's great art rock. One of my favorites from this year. Bigger Buddha, Fork or my Fingers. This is a great emo album. I really enjoyed the writing in this one. This is my friend Magnetism. They made an album called Gracie. This is about their dog who passed away. This is a really great electronic album. The 1975 being funny in a foreign language. I can't believe that the 1975 made another good album. The last album I liked by them was called A Brief Inquiry in Online Relationships. This one is like it just sounds like a Bleachers album. Like Bleachers is Jack Antonoff's band, and Jack Antonoff's whole fucking stick is that he sounds like Bruce Springsteen. But this is just the 1975 trying to sound like Bruce Springsteen. This is pretty good. What are some other ones that I like? Just Foreign Space 2. This is a great
oh yeah,
electro pop album. I would heavily recommend. This is just such a fun album. Flying Squid. Another one of my friends. They made an album. Tell Me What Happened to My Face. great emo, another great emo album with some lo-fi production on it. Link's Desmond, I've Got to Be Brave, some great like bit pop emo fusion again. Like you can tell that my taste is like if you make emo music and you put some tune in it, I like it. Lilac Roadkill, this is a really well produced emo album. Like I was really surprised how clean the production was, even though this is an indie artist. Great album. Patricia Taxon, Agnes, and Hilda. Patricia Taxon, I'm not a fan of her music anymore. I used to like her music, but this album is pretty good. This is censored because it has like a furry porn cover, but
Uh-oh.
it's a good it's a good
Uh-oh.
electropop album. Uh,
Cecily.
oh wow! I think that's it. I think that's it for my albums. My albums. Wow.
Very nice. And we have like 5 minutes left, so we can start winding down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I would also recommend this album. Maya is Dead Soon. This is a artist that I've got to know recently because they joined my Discord server. But this is also a very promising artist and this kind of emo sound. I really like it.
Along with Olive Oil Mafia
The-
is also a member of your
yeah, this
Discord.
is David who was here before. Really good singer
Yeah.
songwriter stuff. I would say go check it out.
Hell yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. I want to conclude with one thought on my side. Maybe you can conclude with one thought on your side. Um,
Mhm.
2022 was a really cool year for a lot of interesting music, but I want to always advocate never worry about the fear of missing out. Never worry about like there's all this music we talked about today. I want to listen to all of it. I want to study it all. Well, my approach has always been check it out. If you don't like it, give it a few years. Get back to it. It's fine. But don't feel a need to be overwhelmed by something. Just check it out if you want to. If you don't want to, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Totally. You can you there's all they're always there for you to come back. And I just listen to like the 15 albums that I like every day. It's okay it's okay to do that. It's okay to not even listen to new music. I only
Yeah.
listen to like 90% of these because either my friend made it or my friend told me to listen to it. So like that's what's like why it's like all fucking emo music. Also because like I listen to a lot of emo music so I could make my emo album. I did some research.
Yeah, or for me, I go like, huh, what is this? I want to go check this out. Oh, I haven't heard of this before. Hey, now I'm really cool and now I'm really into this cool stuff, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I really appreciate the recommendations because these are really genres that I haven't heard before. So I need some kind of pointers. I think that this is gonna be great.
I added a whole bunch from what we talked about today, like Nouns and other albums,
Mm-hmm.
in my listening log 2023
Let's
is what I
go.
call it, which has been picking up in popularity. People like the idea of like, hey, what are you listening to? And I want to say a certain someone who might still be listening liked the art for the 2023 album review game. So
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that
Aw,
to that anonymous individual who may or may not be listening.
very nice.
And with that being said, shall we go ahead and wrap it
Yeah,
up?
that was fun. I wish we could get to some more of them, but you know, this is how it always happens on the semi-interactive podcast. We are very
Yeah,
good.
we'll do another
Yeah,
one
we're very good at
in
keeping
a
on topic.
yeah. We'll do one like in a month or something like that. We'll try to keep these regularly
Nice.
happening.
I'm excited. I love doing these.
Very nice. Well, until next time, I've been Zombiepaper,
I'm Cecily Renns. Thanks for watching.
and You've been listening to the Semi-Interactive Podcast Project, where we've been talking about 2022 albums. Take care and bye-bye.
Goodbye. Okay, I'm gonna close my stream too. Hey, if you're still listening, thank you for coming.
Bye-bye.
I try to stream regularly. I guess I'm still struggling with it. I keep saying I stream regularly, but I'm not. I'll try to stream next like Saturday. Goodbye. Thanks.